Hello aspirants, welcome to Get Set Law Law Library series. Today we are going to discuss a very important and hot topic. It's One Nation, One Election. I'm sure you must have heard about it as this is going trending right now. Why it is trending right now? Because back in September 2023, we had made a high commission under the chairmanship of our former president Ramnath Kovind. Now the purpose of this commission is to review the different types of challenges which might come in implementing the One Nation, One Election. The One Nation, One Election is a scheme which has been long pending, and the Bharatiya Janata Party has promised back in 2014 when they came in power that they will implement this. Now, the issues is that many political parties are not in the support. So 10 political parties have said that they do not want to implement One Nation, One Election scheme. Now, back in January 27, 2024, again the High Commission has set up and they are reviewing the different kinds of issues which are popping up by the different political parties. And this meeting has been joined by the senior advocate and former Central Vigilance Commissioner and many more important dignitaries who are there to decide whether this One Nation, One Election is feasible to implement or not. So even Amit Shah, our Home Minister, has been invited, but he could not attend the meeting. So today we will understand the background that how One Nation, One Election is feasible and from where it is coming. So stay connected. So what is One Nation, One Election? So basically, if I tell you in the simple words, it means that both the central, which is our General Assembly elections, and the state assembly election shall take place together. So as you know that both the elections are for the tenure of 5 years, but it happens on a different period of time. So let's say that we have this year 2024 general Lok Sabha elections in May. But when it comes to the state, every state has its own different tenure because of which the election take place at a different point of time. And that is the purpose of One Nation, One Election, to combine this procedure, and both state and central elections should take place at one point of time. So this is the primary idea of One Nation, One Election. Now if we see the historical background, the first ever election took place back in 1951-1952 for both the Lok Sabha and the State Legislative Assembly. So as you know that we have a parliamentary structure at the central level which is comprising of Lok Sabha, Rajya Sabha and President. And when it comes to the state level, there is a Legislative Assembly, Legislative Council and Governor. So this is the structure of our state and central level. And back in 1951-1952, we had the simultaneous elections for both the state and center, and it went up to 1957, then 1962, and then 1967. And thereafter, certain disruptions took place. The cycle got disrupted because of the premature dissolution of the assemblies of the state, because of which the cycle got disrupted. And later on, Lok Sabha itself got prematurely dissolved in 1971, leading to the complete disruption of the simultaneous election cycle. So thereafter, the different elections started taking place at different point of time, which is continued till now. So back in 1985, our Election Commission of India has also suggested that we should again try to re-implement, rejoin both the elections together. There has to be a simultaneous cycle of the elections for both the center and state levels. Now, if we consider One Nation, One Election, it is important to see the pros and cons, or the advantages and the disadvantages. So we will analyze following advantages. So one of the advantages is that the election expenditure will be reduced. As you know that it takes a lot of cost to conduct elections at both the state level and the central level. So it will be very helpful if we can club these elections and the cost will be reduced. Second is moral code of conduct's impact. As you all know that whenever there is election, 3 days prior to the election, or in fact from 7 days, certain rules and regulations have been imposed upon the political parties that they cannot function in a normal way to neutralize the effect of the election, and that is called as a moral code of conduct. Whenever the moral code of conduct is applied, the normal administration comes into a halt. So it happens for multiple times. Whenever the state assembly election will take, whenever the general assembly election will take, both the times MCC will be applied and normal administration will be at halt. Certain the policies will be halt. So the problem is that it impacts in a general administration work. So that will also be sidelined. Addressing the political corruption. This is another significant challenge that will be solved by bringing the ONOE scheme, with which we can reduce the political corruption. So for example, let's say that when both the assembly election takes place, whether state or central, different political parties gets into multiple corruptory practices. So that corrupt practices will be boiled down to a very significant low level when it happens for a single point of time, because I know that as a political party I have to involve into two significant areas, whether it's state assembly or whether it's general assembly. So that will also be addressed. Citizen convenience. So for citizens also, now we saw from different perspective, we will also look out from the citizens perspective that how it is beneficial for them. So you all know that whenever we turned 18, we have this voting right. We get our voter card ready and we have to go to give elections different times. So that is also inconvenient that you have to take out your time and go and get into the boothing line and give your vote. So that will also be solved, that only once you have to go and then the voting will be done for both the election. So we can see that how advantageous this is if we implement the scheme. But this is not enough. This is just a one side of the coin. And if we see the another side, there are significant disadvantages as well. So our constitution guarantees under Article 83 subclause 2 and Article 172 that the tenure of the legislative assembly has to be of 5 years. As I mentioned in the background that back in 1971, there were a premature dissolution of the state legislative assembly, and henceforth the separate election have been conducted to again continue the cycle of 5 years. So for example, understand that let's say 2024 we conduct the simultaneous election of Lok Sabha and the state assembly, and let's say the state of Punjab breakdowns after 3 years, which is in 2027. So technically they had to complete the cycle of 5 years, which is 24 to 29. Now they got down in 27, and again if we conduct election in 27, the new cycle will become of 27 to 32. However, other states will have the normal cycle of 24 to 29, 29 to 34. So this was the problem which has taken back in 1960s and 1970s, when there were a premature dissolution of the state assemblies because of the lack of confidence in the government. So that issue may arise at this point of time also. Another thing is logistical challenges. As you all know, we need a lot of security forces to control the situation during the election period. We also need to implement different kinds of strategies and policies to have a safe and fair elections. So for that, we need to set up different booths, we need to install EVMs, and multiple things takes place. So for that, we need to come up with a solid budgeting for our logistical challenges. Federalism concerns, because Article 1 of the Indian Constitution says that we are the union of the states, and if we conduct elections at the same point of time, there is a chance that we may lead to a biased democratic structure, because the one party may have a supremacy over another party. Because what happens right now is that if one party is not performing well in the state for a significant period of time, we can choose in another set of time to remove them. So let's say that a state assembly election takes place in 2024, and let's say that the Congress is nominated in the state of Maharashtra, and if they do not perform well within the 6 months, within an year, we can pass this no confidence motion by the members of Legislative Assembly, and that specific party can be removed. And that will become the deciding factor if we want to give this vote to this party in upcoming general elections or not. So this is a very decisive factor when it comes to a purely democratic structure, and it is important for citizens. So these are the significant disadvantages. However, we can devise certain solutions also. So let's say, as I mentioned about the constitutional issue, we can definitely bring the constitutional amendment with which we can change whatever have been given in the Article 83 and the 172, suiting to the democratic need of the country. Second is that we can create awareness, we can bring the voter education in the schools, in the colleges, so that our youth, our young generation is aware to cast vote. Because as of now, as per the government survey, many youths of our country are not into the voter list, and this is a significant problem. So if we create an awareness, if we inculcate voter education, it will help the country to grow in a manner that our youth is getting into the voting list. Investment in infrastructure, as we saw that there could be a major problem with respect to the infrastructure. Whatever capacity we have right now, we can include certain part of it in the annual budget, and with which it will help us to devise multiple mechanisms which will ease the process of election. So whenever we are conducting a simultaneous elections, in every 5-year cycle, we will have a sufficient budget in hand. So this was all. We discussed multiple areas, and please let us know what is your opinion and what is your concern in this regard. Surely let us know in the comments. Along with it, we are launching new live batches, so please check out the description box for more details. So thank you for joining, and I'll see you in the next video.